I was 25, working as a waitress in a small cafe, barely making enough to cover rent. I had always dreamed of becoming a chef, but culinary school was out of reach, both financially and realistically. One late night, as I watched a cooking show on an old TV, a thought crossed my mind: what if I started small, right where I was, and just began cooking? My name is Mia Anderson, and I grew up in a small town where opportunities were limited, especially for someone like me who loved the art of cooking. But despite the obstacles, I held onto my passion, even if it felt like an impossible dream. The first steps were difficult. I had no formal training, no fancy ingredients, and hardly any money. I borrowed a few pots and pans from friends and bought cheap ingredients to start experimenting. At first, it was just me, cooking in my tiny kitchen, trying to recreate the dishes I saw on TV with my own twist. I would often stay up late at night, researching recipes and food techniques on my phone. One day, I decided to take a risk. I created a small menu of my favorite dishes and started posting pictures of them on social media. I announced that I was hosting a pop-up dinner in my apartment for anyone who wanted to try homemade food with a gourmet touch. To my surprise, a few friends and acquaintances showed interest. That night, I served my first group of guests, and the response was beyond what I could have imagined. They loved the food, and I felt a flicker of hope. Encouraged by the feedback, I started hosting regular pop-up dinners every month. Word began to spread, and soon enough, my little apartment dinners became a local sensation. People were intrigued by the idea of a hidden restaurant, and I gained a small following on social media. But I knew that if I wanted to turn this into something sustainable, I needed more space, better ingredients, and a kitchen that wasn't my living room. Every penny I made went into upgrading my cooking supplies, but I was still struggling financially. I debated giving up many times, especially when it felt like the progress was too slow. But each dinner, each satisfied guest, kept me motivated. I knew I was onto something special, and I couldn't let it slip away. Then, something incredible happened. One of my regular guests, a food blogger, wrote a glowing review about my pop-up dinners and posted it online. Within a week, my social media following doubled, and I started receiving messages from people all over the city wanting to attend. The increased attention was thrilling, but it also added a new level of pressure. I was running out of space in my apartment, and I needed more help. That's when I took the leap. I saved up every dollar I could and rented a small space in an old bakery that was closing down. It wasn't much, but it was a step up from my apartment. With a few friends volunteering to help with serving and a local artist painting the walls, we transformed the space into a cozy, rustic little eatery. I called it Mia's Table. The opening night was magical. People filled the tiny space, and as I looked around at the happy faces and heard the hum of conversation mixed with laughter, I knew I was finally on the right path. My dream was no longer just a fantasy, it was coming to life, one dish at a time. With growing success, I started adding unique dishes to the menu, inspired by the flavors and ingredients I'd grown up with. Mia's Table quickly became known for its homey yet innovative dishes, and it wasn't long before a local news station featured us. The exposure brought in new customers, and we were packed every night. But with the increased business came new challenges. I was working long hours, juggling cooking, management, and finding ways to keep up with the growing demand. But I was determined not to let it overwhelm me. I hired a few more staff members, trained them, and gradually learned to trust others in the kitchen. This allowed me to focus on creating new recipes and expanding the menu, while ensuring the quality that my customers had come to love. Today, Mia's Table is a beloved restaurant in the city, known for its heartwarming food and welcoming atmosphere. We've been featured in local magazines, and I even have plans to open a second location. My dream of becoming a chef came true in a way I never expected, not through culinary school or a fancy kitchen, but through grit, creativity, and the love of cooking for others. If you've ever felt like your dream is too far away or that you don't have the resources to make it happen, remember this: start small, start where you are, and never underestimate the power of passion. Success doesn't happen overnight, but every small step brings you closer. If this story inspired you, please like, subscribe, and share your own journey or favorite dish in the comments. Let's keep cooking, creating, and chasing our dreams together.